Yo, what's up? Here's a review for She-Hulk Attorney at Law. This is episode 6. The episode is called Just Jen, and this episode is basically about She-Hulk having to, our Jen Walters going on a trip to be a bridesmaid for an old high school friends and all the things that come up with that. Plus, you got stuff going back at the firm with the new guy that Mallory and Nikki are repping to try to figure out his whole deal with his divorces. So, just to come off the back, man, if you're going to this episode expecting something that was teased in last week, which was Daredevil, I would automatically say he's not here. And just your expectations for that is just going to be a letdown for you. But I think that for me, uh, Daredevil really wasn't that big of a thing that I was like, yo, I'm coming into this episode like just ready to see Daredevil, ready to see him here. Even when I got to finish watching the episode, I totally forgot about the Daredevil thing from last week until like I hopped online and people were just pissed about the Daredevil stuff. So I was like, oh yeah, that's right. But to say that it does let you down a little bit that Daredevil was not here for this episode. To me, I think that the biggest issue with this episode was that it just did not feel like it had enough meat in it to garner it being the episode itself. I feel that if they would have stuck this one with the last week's one, that it would have been a lot better. So this episode together is just basically Jennifer Walters going on a trip to be a bridesmaid at the wedding. She can't be She-Hulk. The bride just doesn't want her to stand up and, overlook her, and people come to see her as She-Hulk and everything. And she just wants her to be Jen, and then she's also pushing all these other jobs on Jen because she's kind of a bridezilla and everything, which is interesting to a point. But it I don't know, man. It is what it is. I think that that part of the story just didn't do a lot for me. I did enjoy the stuff with like her and Titania and everything. I thought that was some pretty interesting things going on with those characters. You got Titania coming here basically being a plus one to a wedding and only doing it just to get back at Jen, which was kind of entertaining in some ways. I like their in-fight scene that they kind of had there. And I like the just back and forth and a little beefing with that. I also enjoyed Jen finding a guy at the wedding and this dude named Josh that she kind of had some feelings for. I thought that was pretty cute and pretty dope for that. But other than that, the wedding didn't really do much for me. I think the thing that actually was the most interesting part of this episode was when you get back to the firm and you got Nikki and Mallory going together to represent this guy whose name is Mr. Immortal. And basically, he's killing himself anytime he feels a little bit of just any type of, what do you want to call it? Just aggression from any of his mates. So if he has a wife, or later you find out he also had a husband, anytime they get mad at him about something, anytime he just not want to be in a relationship, he just hops out of the car and kills himself or does anything to kill himself, which I thought that was actually pretty funny and pretty entertaining, especially when he's in front of the other partners that he's had in the past, and they're arguing back and forth with him and stuff like that, and he's wanting to kill himself at that moment. So that was pretty entertaining. But other than that, man, I couldn't say that there was much to this episode that I enjoyed past that. I'm interested about the kind of last scene that you see towards the end. There's no end credit scene here, but you see a scene where there's a guy setting up another syringe to try to get Jane's blood. A lot of people are alluding to it, and even I kind of thinking myself that this may allude to the leader. There's something on one of the computer screens that is supposedly the leader's like AOL name or his name for messaging and stuff like that. That was in the original Incredible Hulk movie. So if it's him, I am happy. That's a really good character to bring back, especially if you're going to set him up for the Captain America movie. So that's really interesting to see where we're going to go from there. But as far as anything else goes, I can't say that there was too much that. Oh man, I don't know. I thought Nikki in this whole show has been really good for me. Basically She-Hulk's sidekick in a certain ways. Girl's beautiful as hell. I think she's really interesting. She reminds me of a chick that I went to college with, which is funny enough, but has that same type of energy, and she dresses it's very, very similar too. But I really enjoyed Nikki in this show. I thought that she did a really good job, especially with Mallory. I thought both of them did a really great job together and holding those scenes down. And I thought Tatiana Maslany as the She-Hulk and Jen Walters, she's still doing great. I just don't think they give her enough in those scenes, especially, just something to really, really make the show interesting, to really, grab onto. Um, As far as anything else, I thought the She-Hulk, what do you call it? CG was pretty good this episode. She didn't turn into She-Hulk that much, but especially the first time you see her walking out of a car and stuff like that, it looks good there. I thought in the fight scene, it looks good. I think something interesting that I'm starting to realize is that you can start telling the scenes where the She-Hulk's, what do you want to call it? See how CG doesn't look too great, especially when she has on that big lumbering suit. And then it's also when she's in her office, that lighting is so bright that it kind of, makes the CG look more faker than it needs to be. So I think that there are some things there, and you could tell they're shooting on that little volume thing. So I think that may be also an issue as well. But other than that, man, this episode I thought was a little bit below average, just okay. It wasn't bad, but it was just okay. And I would say I give it a 2.75 out of 5 stars. Hopefully next week's is better, man. I'm still enjoying the show, but not as much as I want to. But yeah, that's my review for She-Hulk Attorney at Law episode 6. I'll be back for episode 7. I'm out of here. Peace.